There's a scene midway through the 2004 cult classic, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where a character speaks the mind of everyone on January 1st. It's amazing what Howard gives to the world. You look at a baby and it's so pure and so free and clean. Adults are like this mess of sadness and phobias. Howard just makes it go away. She's talking about Dr. Howard Miezwiak, the founder of Lacuna, a clinic where you can pay to have your memories wiped or erased. Joel, their latest client, who is the unconscious gentleman on the bed, is wiping the slate clean of his past girlfriend. So, quick question. If Lacuna were real and existed today, how much will you pay to wipe away a memory? Think of something unpleasant like a breakup, an exam failure, or something even more far-reaching like a painful childhood. The desire to hit delete on a memory almost always goes hand in hand with the urge to long press the reset button. And you see, that reset button is the ultimate human bug. We are forever trying to reinvent ourselves with new habits and goals, especially at the start of a new year. So, in this video, we are going to explore 1. Why our brains crave fresh starts. 2. How something called temporal landmarks act as a bridge between our past and future selves and convince us that change is easier on certain days. And finally, how 3 brands, Duolingo, Calm, and Sephora, serve as keys to the doorway of the version 2.0 of ourselves. Who needs Dr. Howard when you got New Year resolutions? So this year you learn Spanish, meditate daily, finally get that skin glow up, become more like the person in your vision board. You've got it all covered in a color-coded Notion tracker. Honestly, no shade here. As a Nigerian, we've got a word for that high-octane January 1st energy, ginger. It's hilarious, totally human, and universal. In 2014, 3 researchers at the Wharton School published something fascinating. Relying on statistical methods like OLS regression and Google search trend analysis, they found that you are 145.3% more likely to take a big picture view of your life and commit to a goal at the beginning of a new year than, say, any random Tuesday in March. Why? It's followed by something called a temporal landmark. These are moments in time that feel like psychological borders between current you and future you. A new year, birthdays, Mondays, the start of a semester, a move to a new city, the first day at a new job. The psychological closure linked to temporal landmarks means a 6-month project that runs from June to December is more likely to be completed in time compared to a similar project that runs from July to January. You are more aware of what day it is on Monday and Friday compared to the more forgettable Tuesday or Thursday. Students also tend to remember more about what they learned at the beginning and end of a semester. Temporal landmarks are largely a social construct, a form of cognitive bias that functions as a mental separator between our perceived past imperfect self and our current aspirational selves. I personally believe that they help us as humans to organize our memories like chapters in a book. Forget the term temporal landmark for a second. Let's visualize it. There's a bridge that connects Hong Kong to mainland China called the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge. It's the world's longest sea crossing, a 55-kilometer engineering marvel. There's a quirk to using this bridge, especially if you're driving in from Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, you drive on the left. However, in mainland China, as well as on the bridge itself, you drive on the right. So if you're joining the bridge from Hong Kong, how do you switch sides? You use something called the viaduct. It's like a flipper point where the road curves and helps you swap sides. Think of temporal landmarks, and in this case, the new year as that bridge and that flipper as your New Year's resolution. According to Merriam-Webster, the phrase New Year's resolution first appeared in a Boston newspaper in 1813. But New Year's resolutions go way back. 4,000 years ago, the Babylonians threw a 12-day festival called Akitu, where they'd make promises to their gods, return borrowed tools, pay off debts. swear to do better. If they kept their promises, the gods blessed their harvest, or so they believed. Fast forward to 45 BC. Julius Caesar introduces the Julian calendar and declares January 1st as the start of the new year. Named after Janus, the Roman god with two faces, one looking at the past, the other to the future. By the Middle Ages, Christians wove this into their spiritual calendar. Resolutions were now less about the harvest and more about confession and wiping the slate clean. According to a Forbes survey, here are the top resolutions for 2024, in that order. Interestingly, mental health dropped from the number one priority in 2023. Today, our resolutions are simpler, secular, and more individualized. According to historian Caleb Terry, they are a reflection of living in a time of surplus and excess. And that's where Duolingo, Calm, and Sephora come in. 3 of our partners in the never-ending quest for version 2.0. Let's start with... Picture this. You are in a high-stakes pitch meeting with the leaders of a tech giant. 2 competitors are literally waiting outside the door, practicing their pitch, their lines, even their smiles. Your meeting wraps. The Japanese CEO shakes your hand and thanks you for coming. Without hesitating, you answer, "Doitashi mashite," looking forward to our next meeting. The room goes quiet. You can feel it shift just slightly in your direction. Your boss looks at you with newfound respect. You may have just won your company the contract. Is this realistic? Maybe not, but you've got to admit it feels good to imagine. For some of us, just ordering wine in Paris without sounding like a tourist or an exchange student is good enough. Language learning, though, is a massive cognitive reset, and whether or not you download Duolingo becomes part of that conversation pretty fast. If you met Duo at a speed dating event, their card will read, "I'm a 10." In Q3 2025, 50 million people open the Duolingo app every day. Think about it. How do you get 50 million people to tap your app every single day? Make learning just a little more fun, and what could be more fun than a game? For instance, your 365-day streak tells your WhatsApp contacts that you are disciplined and committed. Unlocking the diamond tournament tells the leaderboard you are competitive. And from day one, Duolingo drops you into an emotional loop of progress, competition, and fear of loss that keeps you coming back. No one, including me, wants to lose their streak. And I can do a little more than order wine in French. So, how well does Duolingo help you master a new language? Honestly, the jury has been out on that for a while. The messy truth is that the road to language fluency is non-linear and can be very frustrating. Sometimes you plateau. You forget words you learned last week. You sound like a toddler for months, but a Duolingo streak is visible and achievable. So if a passive-aggressive owl shouting reminders at you every day is what it takes to feel like you're moving forward, maybe that's not the worst deal. Now, let's move on to something much quieter. In 2011, a strange little website appeared with a single instruction: do nothing for 2 minutes. It was super simple. You'd see the ocean, hear soothing waves, and a timer would start for 2 minutes. If you pressed any key or moved your mouse, the timer restarted. It got 2 million visitors in 10 days. Try typing that website on your browser now. Do nothing for 2minutes.com. No, really try it. I'll also do nothing for the next 5 seconds. You will see that you land on the welcome page of Calm, the meditation app and emotional aspirin of the smartphone era. When you're downloading the Calm app, the version of yourself that you see is the person who doesn't spiral when they lose their keys 1 hour before their flight. Someone who can breathe through the chaos of a painful breakup. A person who is so zen while putting out a million fires at work. Here's Calm's speed dating profile in a nutshell. The founders understood before the rest of us caught on that severe stress is killing us and it's not getting better. Calm's most popular set terms tell you everything: anxiety, nap, rain. We want relief and we really want it now. In 2016, their data showed most people were using the app right before bed, so they launched Sleep Stories, and 1 year later, Calm became Apple's App of the Year. You are off to the races once your product goes from being a vitamin to being an aspirin. But let's face it, who needs to persuade you to listen to Harry Styles read you a bedtime story? One of their latest features, Taptivities, is the ultimate admission of a paradox. The phone in our hands and our endless scroll is the primary source of our anxiety, or at least one of it. Calm, a wellness app, has to exist inside that source. So what do you get? Scrollable text-based visualizations designed to hijack our scrolling addiction and turn it into something a little more calming. And you tap the app again tomorrow because you don't build calm once and forget about it. Now let's move on to something so visible it's practically on the nose. When you finish today's Duolingo course, you get this. When you complete today's calm meditation, there's an invisible chip on your shoulder as you roll up your mat, but no one can tell. But when you get in front of a mirror, rub in a serum, contour like a pro, and swipe on a lip gloss, everyone can tell. In 2010, Sephora explained the origin of their name. Sephos is Greek for beauty, and Zipporah was the famously beautiful wife of Moses. So beauty plus beauty equals Sephora? I guess so. Sephora is the partner in crime for millions chasing the non-surgical visual reset. Their stores are laboratories of reinvention. All colors, brands, any look. The samples are free and the returns are easy. Their staff especially are beauty experts. Skincare and makeup are the fastest, most tangible forms of self-reinvention. And the internet has poured jet fuel on that fire with endless makeup for beginners tutorials on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, turning our bedrooms and bedrooms into beauty parlors. If your product is about helping people become who they want to be, you can't exclude entire communities. When fashion designer Aurora James launched the 15% pledge in the wake of George Floyd's death, Sephora was the first major retailer to sign, promising to dedicate 15% of their shelf space to Black-owned brands. In 2019, Sephora unified their global brand around one message: we belong to something beautiful. Whether you're spending $15 on a cleanser or $500 on La Mer for their 40 million plus exclusive members as well as other customers, that really matters.
Now, bring me that horizon.
One of the most haunting scenes in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind was when Joel, still unconscious, was trying so hard to grasp at his memories as they were being erased. You see, change is exciting, but the familiar feels so seductively safe. Every January 1st, we will perform the same ritual. Tell ourselves, this year will be different. We will delete some apps, promise to stop some bad habits, sign up for some new subscriptions, and sometimes it works. But more often than not, by Valentine's Day, you're probably doom scrolling at 11 p.m. Dough has turned red, and that meditation app is buried somewhere between your banking app and some game you downloaded 6 months ago. That the average New Year resolution lasts less than 4 months doesn't mean we turn our noses at them. You see, the genius of Duolingo, Calm, and Sephora is that they incentivize and monetize the effort of becoming, not necessarily the output. So you've got Duolingo streaks, Calm minutes logged, Sephora store visits over definitive metrics of long-term language proficiency, profound emotional mastery, or ultimate aesthetic satisfaction. I'll argue that we are all on the journey of becoming, and that itself is worth fighting for. No matter how many times we fall off, quit, relapse, or even forget, most of us can't resist the call for another fresh start. Temporal landmarks like the new year give us the courage to pump the brakes, check our engines, and go full speed past that bridge. Since you made it this far, you are the real G. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe and share with your friends. And see you in the next video. Bye.